Moonlit Rejection by Dark Sparkle. Prologue. The Ceremony of Fate. The moon hung full and silver above the clearing, its glow washing over the gathered wolves like a benediction. Torches lined the sacred circle, flickering flames casting shadows that danced across excited faces. This was the mate reveal ceremony, a night of destiny, of bonds discovered, of futures entwined. Year-old Lily Rossi stood at the edge of the circle, her storm-gray eyes lifted to the heavens. Her heart thundered in her chest, each beat echoing with her wolf's anticipation. Selene, restless and eager, whispered in her mind, "He's here. We'll find him tonight. Our mate, our forever." Lily's chestnut hair tumbled down her back, and her fingers twisted nervously in the fabric of her dress. She was the Alpha's daughter. She was supposed to be strong, confident. Yet in this moment, she was only a girl trembling at the threshold of fate. A hush swept over the crowd as Adrian Blackthorn stepped into the circle. He was 18, tall and broad-shouldered, golden hair gleaming like the very light of the moon. His piercing blue eyes swept over the crowd, arrogant, certain. Wolves whispered his name, heir to the Blackthorn pack, future alpha, already powerful. Then their eyes met. The world stilled. Lily felt it, a pull so fierce it nearly brought her to her knees. The mate bond snapped into place, surging through her veins like wildfire. Selene howled in joy, recognition bursting in her chest. "Ours! He's ours!" But Adrian's expression did not mirror her joy. His face hardened, eyes narrowing as though fate itself had insulted him. "No," he said, his voice carrying in the silence. "This can't be." Confusion rippled through Lily. She took a step forward, hope trembling in her voice. "Adrian." "It's us. Don't you feel it? The bond?" He cut her off, his words like a blade. "I reject you." Gasps tore from the crowd. Lily staggered back as if struck. Pain exploded in her chest, her wolf crying out in agony. "You're weak," Adrian continued coldly. "I will not bind myself to someone who will drag me down. I deserve a Luna strong enough to rule beside me. That is not you." The world tilted. Lily's vision blurred, her heart shattering into pieces she could never gather again. The whispers began. Pity, shock, scorn. The Alpha's daughter. Rejected. Tears burned her eyes, but she refused to let them fall here, not before them all. Turning on her heel, she fled into the night, the sound of Selene's broken howl echoing through the trees. What was meant to be the beginning of her forever had ended before it even began. And it was only the start of her story. The wound, the forest, had always been Lily's refuge. As a child, she'd run beneath the towering pines, her laughter echoing through the clearing, her wolf pup bounding in clumsy joy beside her. But tonight, the trees pressed in like mourners, shadows stretching long and cold under the heavy glow of the moon. Her lungs burned as she ran, the hem of her ceremonial dress torn by thorns. She barely noticed the sting of cuts on her arms, barely cared that her bare feet struck against sharp rocks. Nothing could compare to the pain clawing through her chest. The mate bond, the one her wolf had howled for only moments before, was unraveling inside her, threads snapping one by one until only an ache remained. Selene whimpered in her mind, the sound raw and heartbreaking. "He's ours. Why did he throw us away?" Lily stumbled to her knees at the edge of the stream. The water glittered with moonlight, cruelly beautiful, a mirror of the ceremony she had fled. She leaned forward and pressed her hands into the earth, as though grounding herself against the storm inside. "He rejected us," Lily whispered, her voice breaking. Saying it aloud made it real. Her chestnut hair fell forward, veiling her face, but the tears refused to stay hidden. They fell hot and fast, dripping into the dirt. Selene's howl rose again, echoing in her soul, but weaker this time. The bond had been torn at its root. Footsteps crashed through the underbrush, hurried and heavy. A voice, breathless and panicked, called out, "Lily!" Mira burst into the clearing, her curly blonde hair tangled with leaves, green eyes wide. She dropped to her knees beside Lily without hesitation, pulling her into an embrace. "I couldn't find you in the crowd. Goddess, Lily, are you—" Her words faltered as she took in Lily's tear-streaked face. "He rejected me," Lily choked out. The words came jagged, like glass tearing her throat. In front of everyone, he said I was weak. Mira's arms tightened around her. For once, her normally irreverent, bubbly friend didn't have a joke ready. Anger flared in her voice instead. He's the weak one. Only a fool would turn his back on you. He doesn't deserve you, Lily. But the words slid off like rain against stone. Adrian's voice replayed in her head, sharp and merciless. I will not bind myself to someone who will drag me down. Her stomach clenched until she thought she might vomit. He was supposed to be my mate, she whispered, the one, my forever, and now. Her words broke into a sob. What am I without that? You're Lily Rossi, Mira said fiercely, Alpha's daughter, my best friend, and you're still you no matter what he said. Still, the whispers from the crowd wouldn't leave her. The Alpha's daughter, rejected. Pitying eyes, scornful smirks. The humiliation pressed down harder than even the tearing of the bond. Mira shifted, her green eyes flashing. Come back with me. Your parents... No. The word came out sharp, desperate. Lily pulled away, hugging her arms to her chest. I can't face them. Not yet. Not when everyone saw... Her voice cracked again. Mira hesitated, then nodded slowly. Then I'll stay here with you. She leaned back on her hands, tilting her face to the moon as if challenging it. He thinks you're weak. Fine, let him. But I know better. Lily closed her eyes. The moonlight pressed against her skin, a reminder of the goddess who had fated her to Adrian, only to rip him away. What kind of cruel destiny was that? The sound of rustling leaves announced another arrival. Lily tensed, scrubbing at her face, ashamed of her tears. But when she looked up, it wasn't another curious packmate. It was her father. Alpha Alessandro Rossi was a commanding figure, his dark hair streaked with silver, his broad shoulders filling the clearing. Even without shifting, his wolf aura pressed heavy in the air, protective and unyielding. He took in the sight of his daughter on her knees, Mira hovering protectively, and his expression hardened. Not at her, never at her, but at the wound carved into her spirit. He crossed the distance in 2 strides and crouched down. Lily, he said, his voice gentler than she expected. Come here, Tesoro. The endearment broke her last fragile defense. She let him pull her against his chest, his strong arms wrapping around her. For the first time since the rejection, she let herself feel safe. But safety didn't erase the pain. He said I wasn't enough, Lily whispered into his tunic. Her father's jaw clenched. Then he's blind. You are more than enough. You are my daughter. You are destined for greatness, Lily. But the bond... Her voice shook. It was supposed to be forever. Fate makes mistakes, Alessandro said, surprising her. But strength is not in who fate ties you to. It is in who you become when fate tries to break you. She wanted to believe him. But right now, all she could feel was the emptiness where her mate bond had once glowed. Back at the Rossi estate, the pack was restless. Whispers spread like wildfire. The rejection had been public. No one could pretend it hadn't happened. As Alessandro carried his daughter inside, eyes followed them. Some filled with pity, some with judgment, a few with quiet sympathy. Luna Isabella met them at the door, her elegant figure framed by the soft glow of lanterns. Her dark hair spilled over her shoulders, her warm brown eyes already glistening with unshed tears. Lily! She rushed forward, taking her daughter's face in her hands. My sweet girl, Isabella whispered, kissing her temple. Let him go. His rejection doesn't define you. But Lily couldn't meet her mother's gaze. She pulled free and fled up the stairs, shutting herself in her room before anyone could stop her. There, in the solitude of her chamber, she collapsed onto her bed. Her dress still smelled faintly of pine and smoke from the ceremony. She tore at it with shaking hands, desperate to rid herself of the memory. Selene whimpered again, weaker now. We lost him. What if we never find another? Then we'll be alone, Lily whispered into the dark. Better that than to be humiliated again. She buried her face in the pillow, muffling her sobs. Outside, the moon shone on, indifferent to her pain. That night, Lily Rossi made a silent vow. If Adrian Blackthorn thought she was weak, she would prove him wrong. If fate thought she could be broken, she would defy it. She would never beg for love again. But vows made in the fire of heartbreak have a way of shaping destinies far more powerful than anyone expects. The breaking point the days after the mate reveal ceremony crawled by like years. The Rossi estate bustled with whispers and cautious glances, every corridor humming with gossip that Lily couldn't escape. Servants who had once greeted her with warm smiles now bowed their heads too quickly, pity clouding their eyes. Warriors who had trained beside her looked away as if afraid her rejection were contagious. Each time she passed through the pack house, Lily heard it. The Alpha's daughter. Rejected. Some voices dripped with scorn, others with disbelief, but all carried the same weight, humiliation. Selene, usually vibrant and eager within Lily's mind, was subdued. Her wolf no longer pressed for runs or play. Instead, she lay curled in silence, licking her wounds. Every now and then, Lily felt her stir, but it was always followed by a pained whimper. On the fourth day, Lily found herself in the training yard at dawn. She hadn't slept, her storm-gray eyes shadowed with exhaustion. The yard smelled of dew and earth, familiar scents that usually steadied her. Today, though, they brought no comfort. She had come with one purpose, to prove herself. Adrian had called her weak. The word rang in her ears with every breath, echoing like a curse. Weak, not enough, drag him down. If he thought her fragile, she would show him otherwise. She would fight until her body ached, until the pack could see that she was not some broken girl. Mira appeared at her side, her blonde curls messy from rushing out to meet her. She rubbed sleep from her eyes and yawned. "You're out here early." Again. "I couldn't sleep." Lily picked up a practice sword, the wooden handle rough against her calloused palms. She swung it a few times, the whoosh of air giving her something steady to focus on. Mira crossed her arms, studying her. "You think running yourself ragged will change what he did?" Lily's jaw clenched. "No, but it might change me." Before Mira could reply, a ripple of murmurs moved across the yard. Wolves stepped aside as Adrian Blackthorn strode in, flanked by his beta in training and a few of his friends. His golden hair caught the early light, and his blue eyes swept the space until they found Lily. Her heart lurched despite herself. Selene stirred weakly, hope flickering, then immediately recoiled, remembering the wound. Adrian smirked, though his expression held no warmth. "I see the rumors are true. The Alpha's daughter wants to train." His voice carried, sharp enough for the surrounding warriors to hear. Lily lifted her chin, gripping the practice sword tighter. "Why shouldn't I?" "Because it's pointless," Adrian said smoothly, tilting his head as though studying her like an insect. "You'll never be strong enough. Not for me. Not for this pack. Better to accept your place than embarrass yourself trying." The words cut deeper than any blade. To be continued. If you like this video and want more, do like and subscribe. Thank you.